supporting your community and sustaining it. I'm going to start with a very short love poem for community that's about the more than human community with the more than human world. So it's a very short poem with a very long, very awkward title. It's called Summary of the International Panel on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services Assessment Report on the Diverse Values and Valuation of Nature. Okay. The scientist said, those with narrow love are sucking down the future. The scientist advised, if someone loves the world, if they know they're inseparable, give them power. When you ache for the world, feel your power. So next is a very long poem that starts along the Smith River and ends in downtown Eureka at a protest I helped organize in 2016. Dave, you remember that? I expected only a few to attend the protest and stand on the gazebo and have candles and share in a circle. But after the candlelight vigil, people just kept showing up, and at some point, hundreds of people were there. There were so many of us that people started spilling out into the street. And I just felt this intense joy at being in, taking up so much public space with other people. And at one point, I felt almost like my arms drifting up a little bit. And I realized I felt this particular cocktail of happiness, connectedness, and solitude before while swimming with my friends. And so the next poem brings together those two experiences, so protest and swimming and just being with the river. It's called Dream Pop for Swimmers. Had some Dream Pop games. I love that. Smith River. To walk the riverbed, we each lugged a boulder. We worked to stay under, to see fish fleeing through a rock's fissure, patterns of sun so splendid they must be a form of thought, the quicksilver undersurface, a cerulean surpassing love, and in the pool, urgency in current-curdled shadows. We'd sung of that river, but the song never said what we wanted it to, or it was not subtle enough, or it was not loud enough. We knew this because it went unheard by the head of state. It went unheard by the spiritual conifers and the thickening sky. All day we felt water fly from rapid to pool, burbling and blooming to grow taut at the tail out. We sat on a hot boulder the size of a camper to charge up our longing. Later, we were alone in our longing and surrounded by lambent opacity. As bats moved like faces in a dream, sunset spilled and unraveled. The sky became foreground. Conifers raised their shapes. We swam surrounded by sound and stripped of speech. We spread toward each other, enfeebled, alone. Surprised by the newness and elegance of our limbs, we were buoyant on some language. So we reached against the current and yelled into our closed mouths until, agog, we tried once more by slamming our hands down on some car hood. November 10th, 2016, downtown Eureka. I wrote Bring Candles to First and F, and 60 strangers circled that night with little lights. A veteran with a cane brought a PA. Strangers spoke uninterrupted as we grew into hundreds, and the hundreds led to the center of the street where a teenager tested the resonance of a car hood. Mute, alone, amazed, I looked at my arms, buoyant like a swimmer's. You are real enough to block traffic, the hundred said. So we're gathered here to recover from a fire, and that local loss is taking place in the context of other losses nationwide. I'm going to read several short poems that I wrote after my father passed away, and I became obsessed with astronomy. After spending a few years speaking to the cosmos through these poems, I felt like some rift had mended in myself. So the next 5 minutes or so, imagine that we're all sitting in one of those inflatable planetariums from elementary school, if you can. Do you remember those? All right. Yeah, totally. If you went through Eureka City schools in the 80s and 90s. Oh, nice. So yeah, just, stars everywhere, like cozy spot. Vaster. Who's vastest? Who's furthest? I'll speak to you first to bring you close. In a small reflective room, friends try to console me, while I try to talk to the universe, you, tender heavens, tender self, tender life. For the Milky Way. You fell around a strand of darkness, made your ruminating form. Then you pulled in others, setting off new stars and feeding a hub of inwardness, orbiting light-flexed into an illusion of an orb, around one path, only forward, with time to roam in. You have a future, a merge, a flight, a meld, then in spreading space, solitude. For your eyed peoples, you'll be a universe. Gentle Jupiter. You inhaled our solar system's breath and swelled with sky. Your moons are fireflies, your scale an error. You could not stop making yourself. With your circling storm, you pattern your interior, pressing a mystery to atmosphere. This one's blank, so I'll just stand in silence. For Neptune. You're a stone in a hot sea, and a sea of suppressed boiling. You're a world-sized storm, and an errant moon, geysering. A world need not drag, you say, it need not tether. Some planets pull air to stillness, but your sky stays swifter than sound. This is for dark matter and dark energy. I looked for void to test my heart against, but found instead lavish galaxies, a map of myths, and within all, you. Loss, I can't use what I've learned from it to know the world. What seems empty is full. You, invisible, pull, then you accelerate. So I've been thinking about Northtown books a lot lately, and about the importance of bookstores and writers and libraries and journalists. And this is a time when so much knowledge is being erased. And so this next poem is about knowledge and knowledge of history and how powerful it is. In this case, this is about the power of knowing the history of the earth and the history of climate change. How bad will it be? I asked the scientists. To prepare for a climate change future, they said, learn Earth's history. This is your story, begun before you were human. In it, climate is central. Will it give me hope? I demanded. Sort of, they sighed. You'll feel grief first. You'll learn that it's easy to destroy a world, and still you must cherish ruins. We think life evolved once on Earth. Our ancestors were the first, and our family's history spans a quarter of the universes. You can struggle with Earth's beings, and for them, this could sustain you. You're estranged by what you've done and what's been done to you, but if history will bring you back, learn it while you act. Thanks, Ellen. So one reason I love thinking about the more than human world is that it reminds me that there are so many ways to be. So for instance, before the 70s, some people thought that all life was dependent on the sun for energy. And then someone took a submersible down to the deep sea and found this whole community of organisms that didn't need the sun at all. And so I love that for any rule you make, there is some critter out there breaking it. So very heartening to know that. This poem is about those critters, deep sea tube worms, or riftia. Ooh, we got some riftia fans. You were the first to make us doubt the hegemony of the sun. With no eyes, no mouth, and no gut, for food you breathe Earth's restlessness. Vermiform thicket, rocking and boiling current, how does it feel to become infected, to lose your organs, to find your shape? Red plumes of lung, chitinous sheaths of birch, tubes of lipstick, parted lips. Some of us searched you for our origins, uprooting you with a robotic arm, a bouquet from a parallel garden. All right, so I want to end with a poem that recognizes some of the critters that sustain humans. So a reminder, autotrophs are animals that feed on inorganic sources of energy like sunlight or chemicals, and then heterotrophs feed on other life. So this poem is from the perspective of an autotroph talking shit about heterotrophs like From the autotroph to the heterotroph. I wandered, ate sunlight, ate sulfur, but never knew hunger, as hunger is what I make, my gift to life. I fed at the seam in the ocean floor. I carried desire and laid it before the busy living world. I encompass both I've touched. That trembling life I feed and the dawn